So this is going to be a collective reading for March 2023. And when I first thought I'd do something like this was last March, a year ago, and feels like full circle, wheels within wheels. I was looking at this old portable Blake compilation book I had on the shelf a year ago. I was thinking some of these old paperback books, I used to mark them when I bought them. And that's the 26th of June 1998, £5 Irish pounds. And that's 25 years ago. I remember buying that in some little second-hand shop in the Georgia Street Arcade in Dublin. And you couldn't really conceive of what you'd be doing or who you might be in 25 years' time. But your consciousness is really no different. You've just passed through. All those experiences. I mean, 25 years ago, that's almost like an antique. But I noticed that the back of the book, they have the editor talking about a vision of the book of Job, just sort of added on. And this seemed quite appropriate to look at as we're all attempting to begin again. The following 21 plates are not illustrations to the book of Job, but Blake's vision of its meaning to him. It is rival to the Bible lesson, though it occasionally seems to complement it. Were it not for the fact that Blake is so intent upon divulging its real theme as he conceived it, his own work could be taken for a parody of the complacency with which the Bible story ends. The Bible tells the story of a man perfect and upright, and one that feared God and eschewed evil. His substance was very great, and his piety so preeminent among men that Satan was allowed to try it, to see whether his faith in God could withstand deprivation and bitter physical suffering. Job nearly reached the bottom of the pit of desolation. He lost everything. Indeed, he nearly failed the test. When his pious friends, shocked by his lamentations and reproaches against the divine will, sought to convince him that his suffering was a punishment for sin, Job rebelled. Only when the voice of the Lord came to him out of the whirlwind and overwhelmed Job by his power and majesty did he submit to God's mysterious permission of evil. Yet it is the human cries with which Job struggles to believe in so inscrutable a violation of human happiness and good faith that give the story in the Bible its eloquence and its poetry. Blake's vision begins with an attack on Job himself for his own love of worldly goods and his consequent self-righteousness. The Bible portrays a man who was virtuous and who was made an example despite his own goodness of God's eternal dominion. Blake portrays a man who went wrong from the beginning, for he sought prosperity rather than vision. The drama takes place all within his own soul. In the Bible, Satan is an agent of God, albeit a jealous agent, and as an agent has liberty to try men for the edification of God. The biblical Satan, in short, is really a court jester to majesty. Blake Satan is the god of this world, the god who tempts men to yield their real humanity by leading them after material goals. Satan is beaten only when Job recovers his spiritual sight, his true human understanding that his material substance, which in the Bible is the reward for goodness and the mark of human success, is sterile and corrupting. We owe the elucidation of Blake's symbolism in this work to the English scholar Joseph Wicksteed. He discovered that the theme of Blake's designs, the struggle between the natural and the spiritual or visionary man, is plotted on the difference between right and left. The right hand or foot stands for the visionary, unmaterial, prophetic character. The left hand or foot for the worldly, the conformist, and the material. Where Job is shown with his right hand or right foot ahead of his left, it means that the spiritual side of his human nature is in the ascendancy. This scheme is followed in every design and by all the characters. It is a key to Blake's fundamental belief in the integral character of human nature, in which alone all of life's struggles are waged, that the right and left should be part of the same body. In the Bible, God, Satan, and man are three different characters on three different levels of power, knowledge, and creativity. In Blake's vision, the only character is man himself, in whom the right, which is spiritual, and the left, which is materialist, conflict for ultimate domination. In the first illustration, all is seemingly calm and prosperous before the storm. But the sun is setting on the left, in the west, evidence that Job is living in a world of approaching night and darkness. The musical instruments that hang on the tree are the symbols of art, creativity, and joy that have been put away. We see here a Job prosperous, pious, but in danger of losing his inner gift, his soul. For while the musical instruments have been put away, he is reading evening prayers to his family from the books, as Foster Damon said, written by others. In the last illustration, the 21st, Job and his human flock stand before the tree, this time playing upon their instruments. It is the sunrise, the real life of man's creative powers, of his joyous acceptance of his true nature, is just beginning. But between the first and 21st illustrations, Job goes through hell, the hell that is in all men when they close their eyes to their own divinity. As Wicksteed pointed out, the Jehovah who appears at the crest of the second illustration, the poetic genius who is at the head of man, is the same image as Job himself. He is Job when Job accepts his inner nature. In that light, the true unity of the creation appears everywhere in the picture, emphasized by the border designs. But with the third illustration, Satan appears, and it is an introduction to the subtle inner drama that Blake introduces into every design to study the mocking contortions of the demon's figure. In the greatest of these designs, when the morning stars sang together, 14, Blake created what must remain forever one of the great testaments to man's craving for spiritual fulfillment. Level upon level, the whole creation rises out of the poetic genius of man, and the world sings in the joy of its beholding and in the wonder of man himself, who has so much greatness within him. Illustrations of the Book of Job, invented and engraved by William Blake, 1825. This is number 1. The letter killeth, the spirit giveth life, it is spiritually discerned. The instruments hanging on the tree behind them, the books on their laps, the beasts of burden sleep in the field. And the sun rising. Number 2. When the Almighty was yet with me, when my children were about me. Number 3. The fire of God is fallen from heaven. It's nightmarish quality to Blake's visions. Number 4. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. It's interesting that with the figures running in opposite directions. It's number 5. Then went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord. Everything is always in motion. Like, it's interesting that as well has the structure there, almost like suggesting like a dolmen or something. And it's funny to me, I can't help thinking of the title, The Presence of the Lord, without thinking of the song by Blind Faith. Number 6. And smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. Which does make you think the God of the Old Testament was a demonic ruler of a material plane to do such things. Number 7. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept, and knew him not. Number 8. Let the day perish wherein I was born. And seated by that same structure. Number 9. Then a spirit passed before my face. The total strangeness of the reality. Number 10. Have pity upon me, O ye my friends, for the hand of God hath touched me. Or they point at him, but they do not touch. Number 11. With dreams upon my bed thou scarest me, and affrightest me with visions. It really is nightmarish. Serpents, and grasping hands, the chains, the underworld. Nightmares of the astral plane. Entities and demons trying to ensnare you in your own fears. Number 12. I am young and ye are very old, wherefore I was afraid. "13. Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind." It's interesting how the figure comes out of a spiraling motion. Spirals of creation. Number 14. Get the full image. When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Look, some details there. 4 horses. That's an extraordinary image there. Crescent moon on like a angel riding a serpent. The ordinary people looking to the morning stars. Really should be an album cover to your favourite prog rock album. "15. Behold now Behemoth, which I made with thee." It's like he's pointing down to the inner realms of the earth, or the past epoch of beasts. It's a really extraordinary image. It's like the behemoth, it's like something carved, and the serpent or dragon figure makes me think of something out of MC Escher. It's like pushing through to another dimension. There is something about the serpent figure is some protective layer to higher realities. It's interesting how we see the serpent as evil in the West and often seen as something of protecting or good luck in the East. 16. Hell is naked before him, and destruction has no covering. And pouring forth. Uncovered. 17. I have heard thee with the hearing of the ear, but now my eye seeth thee. It's interesting how they look up, but those without the eye to see can only turn away from the light. To be blinded by a higher reality. 18. Also the Lord accepted Job, and now he can stand to the light. 19. Everyone also gave him a piece of money. Which is this like strange image of acceptance by the... It's like, are these the normies now? Come to accept his return and position. 20. There were not found women fair as the daughters of Job. This is an incredible image as well, because he has... Here Job has his hands out to these spirals of the world, the dynamic reality of nature, of creation in motion. It's like he is now attuned to be the creative force in his own life. Like these images, it suggests a kind of chaos that he's mastered, and he is now master of the fecund earth, given birth to new life himself. With 3 daughters. We reach the end of the journey. 21. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than the beginning. Try and get a good image of this. So the Lord blessed the latter end of Job more than the beginning. We have the mirror image where the moon and the sun have swapped. The instruments have come off the tree. And they're all merrily making music. And the beasts of the field have awoken. And it's like they're all living happily ever after as members of the incredible string band. Like the hangman's beautiful daughter. And so we go forth.